So having thought about these two, having articulated this theory, and then the resulting policy that he's proposing, I want you to take a look at these different Americans. Almost all of them are Americans. One is not American. That you have in front of you on these POV cards, and take a moment to think both about how they would have responded to this speech, and then as a follow-up, how they would have responded to the assassination. Abraham Lincoln's family was from Kentucky originally, and his parents left the Baptist church because it was pro-slavery, and they were not. So just to there's some, these are, and even if you can't make a clear decision, you start to think of what the questions are. In his very last speech before he was assassinated, Lincoln proposed that what he described as very intelligent Negroes and those who had fought for the Union should be eligible for the vote.
Okay, sure.
So
that would give hope, but
yeah.
This is after the assassination, right?
And what happened in South Carolina afterwards actually was that it became the state with the most black legislators during Reconstruction, right?
And that only lasts, 10 years?
Right. Not even. So, all right, good questions you guys are bringing up, though. I'm not going to ask you to go around and say what your person would have thought, but instead, just if you want to reflect on some of the questions that you were struggling with or that came up, or some of the issues that you had to ask.
How about if we know what the person would have thought?
If you know, if you feel certain, then I think you should say what were some of the things that made you know. Okay?
All
right, go ahead. Whoever wants to start, raise your hand or just shout out. Anybody?
Okay. Well, we got into Johnson this week, in Tennessee, so we already know that he was a little angry, wanted revenge, but was politically minded enough to go with Lincoln until, his time came. But then because I mouthed off, she gave me another one. And this one was a white merchant in San Francisco, formerly of Delaware. Apparently Delaware was a very small slave-holding state, and this gentleman moved to San Francisco, obviously probably during the gold rush. So our idea was, we really don't think this guy cares. He's there, if he's in San Francisco, he's trading, he's involved with all sorts of ethnic groups and nationalities, and he's there just to make money. So I really don't think his political opinions are going to be very strong, since he moved from a very small state to a state with more people where there'd be more opportunity.
But California was strongly in which camp during
in the Free State category, because of the Compromise of 1850.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Good thoughts. What else? Who else? What were you thinking about as you were going through this process?
We're a white Georgetown DC dock worker. We're wondering why we're unable to fight, but
maybe you had like a leg that had I don't know, you broke your leg when you
build your character.
Okay, so our options are really limited, so we're really worried now with the freeing of the slaves, because all this cheap black labor is going to be coming up from the South.
Yeah.
And if what you're saying is basically our case, we have very few options economically to turn to. So if we lose this job.
Not to mention that the Potomac River is about to silt up, and there hasn't been a pit dock in Georgetown in 10 years, but you don't know that.
Man.
What else? Yes.
Well, I just thought it was interesting how you had to think about their reaction to the speech and then the assassination, and the role that we had was a Massachusetts writer with strong abolitionist ties, and we had very differing reactions to the speech and the assassination. That they're disillusioned by the speech, and this is not enough, and you kind of you've soft pedaled down, you've taken more of a centrist stance, but the assassination still devastates them because this is your revered leader who did speak out. And so
interesting.
And we also struggled as an abolitionist with the idea of having sort of a religious approach to this whole thing. Would we have been insulted that, okay, now we're being lumped in with the sinners who perpetrated this horrible institution, and how dare you try to make us be with them, and then maybe we become even more zealous once Lincoln was assassinated, see, now you didn't want to punish them, now they killed the president on top of it, just sin upon sin on the South, and I'm not part of that. You know, like even more stronger regional identity of not wanting to be seen as part of that bigger.
Yeah, very interesting.
And one of our controversies was just because you were an abolitionist didn't mean you believed in equal rights.
So true. That's so true, absolutely. There were a lot of Northerners who did not, you know, we sort of tend to say, as you were just saying, that the Northerners they were against slavery. Not so much, you know, that was unusual, absolutely. So the last thing I want to ask you all is, if you were to take this into your classrooms, what kinds of things might you want to do to enhance your ability to assess students and or to develop this into something that would actually work for you? And I know this is really fast, but let's just do some popcorn ideas about this. And the last piece is, if you were to use this, would you, is there anything that you feel like you would need to do to scaffold it differently? Yeah.
I mean, I teach global, so we were thinking of ideas possibly doing this with like the French Revolution and giving out different characters, or Caesar, or any revolution for that matter, and really, you know, coming up with these different types of characters and seeing what the kids feel.
Yeah, yeah. It does require some research though, because as you noticed as I was going, I mean, it can be your research or the kids. You can decide sort of, you can use it as an assessment tool, or you can give it to them and say, you need to go find out more about these people.
We had an Illinois regimental soldier in Taylor, and we were trying to think what battles that soldier would have fought in. So, you know, that would be a springboard to do a little bit more research about that regiment, get background on it.
One thing that has occurred to me while we've been doing this here is that you could potentially do this in part as a Google Map activity. You could use Google Maps to actually pin where each of the different people were from and to upload, you know, something so that you're creating a class project as a result that might allow everybody to make use of it.